we are broadcasting. So day 13, not that lucky, but we're doing causation. So by now you've looked at a few different things related to causation. So there's causation. So one thing causes another thing, and it shows up as a correlation. Sometimes there's a third factor. And so when Minute Physics was talking about that third factor, it could be an island as a third factor in the relationship between cat height and, having cat ownership and height of cat owners, something like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to look at a few examples. What you're going to do is, just answer some questions. And so to try and avoid all the extraneous variables and other things that happen in causation, scientists usually use a controlled study. In a controlled study, you try and isolate out all the the extraneous variables. You control the independent variable so that you can tell if you've got the independent or the dependent variable. It happens all the time, and it's a very successful technique. Okay, so we are going to go to Socrative, and I'm hoping you can see that screen. It is, oh, there we go. So it is room number 249717, and we're going to look at a controlled study, an example of a controlled study. And the point of a controlled study is to try and control the variables as much as possible so that we get the cause and effect correct. Okay, so here's the example. This is actually a cancer example, and I'm kind of familiar with cancer studies, and I know it can be kind of an emotional thing. So it was either cancer or smoking. I didn't know which. Anyway, I went with cancer. So a medical researcher wants to determine if a new cancer drug is effective, and this can be a tricky business. 100 people who are receiving cancer treatment volunteered to participate. Quite often, to control extraneous variables, people will actually get excluded from cancer studies. And so researchers often have to vet through the list and make sure they're controlling all the extraneous variables. They might, for example, exclude people who have been smokers. They might make sure that all the variables are the same. So ultimately, the researcher finds 50 people who meet the criteria. Those 50 people are carefully divided into two groups to try and control the studies. And one group gets their existing treatment with the new drug added. The second group gets their existing treatment plus the addition of an inert substance. So this is an example of a double-blind experiment. Okay, the experimental group is the first group. Yes, that is correct. The second group is what they call the control group. Okay, so the control group, they have had everything is the same for that second group, except for the application of the drug. Okay, so the next question, it looks exactly the same. Okay, so cancer drug, one group gets the drug, the other group gets the inert substance. Here's the question, what is the independent variable? What is the thing that the researcher is controlling in this study? Okay, so what's the independent variable in this study? What's being changed? Yeah, so the presence of the new drug is what's being changed, okay? And the dependent variable should be response to treatment, okay? So in other words, does the cancer respond to the treatment? That's the dependent variable, okay? Next, okay. The researcher does the experiment, 22 people from the first group, in other words, the experimental group, go into remission. And so 22 people are cured. 16 people from the second group go into remission. Can the researcher really say that the treatment is effective? And everybody's saying yes. And the actual answer is it's a little bit small. So that group is just a little bit, the sample is very small, okay? So 22 are going into remission with the treatment. 16 are going into remission without the treatment. It looks better, but this could actually be due to randomness. So we can't really draw that conclusion just yet. And we'll actually learn statistical methods that'll help us determine if that's a result or not. Okay, so exactly the same scenario. We have 22 people going into remission in the first group, 16 in the second group. What should the researcher do? What further study should the researcher do? Okay, no answers yet. However, I'm confident that what should the researcher do at this point? So looks kind of promising. A little bit more remission. What should the researcher do? Oh, look at that. Exactly the same answer from two people. Who would have guessed? What are the odds? It correlates. Another study with a larger group is exactly larger group or a larger sample. That is exactly what the researcher should do. My cousin does cancer research, and he's done exactly this. The initial trials, after you go through a long set of testing with like animals and theoretical study, cell tissue culture study, you do a very small test on a group of people, probably who are close to terminal in their cancer. And if it seems promising, then you go to a larger group, provided you don't have too many side effects. All right, very good. Okay, so that's how you use a controlled study. And so there's one last thing that we're going to look at, and that is we're just going to see if we can figure out what kind of relationship exists of the ones that we looked at. Okay, so require names, none of that. Okay, there we go. So let's assume that we've got a correlation. And so what kind of relationship is this? Is this, we have alcohol consumption, so increasing alcohol consumption correlates with automobile accidents. Is this like cause and effect or reverse cause and effect? Is it, yeah, okay, so you think it's cause and effect. We have people thinking it's cause and effect, and the answer is, yeah, it's cause and effect. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Next. Okay, score on a physics exam and a score on a calculus exam. So is this cause and effect, or is it a third variable involved? I don't know. There we go. This is a hard one, obviously. This is the one where you probably know. Actually, why don't you just... Yeah, so you get a good score on your physics exam. Scores on your physics exam correlates with scores on your calculus exam. And common cause, yes. Okay, getting a good mark on physics doesn't mean that you automatically get a good mark on calculus. That means that you probably studied. So we probably have people who study hard for physics and then they study hard for calculus too. Okay, so there's common cause there. Okay, what type of a relationship is this? So you get an increase in pay, so it results in increased job performance. So what's going on there? You just increase pay and people do better. And reverse cause and effect is what people are saying. So in fact, what people seem to be saying is, as you perform your job better, you get more pay. Yeah, and this is reverse cause and effect. In fact, they actually work both directions, believe it or not. If you get an increase in pay, often it correlates with an increase in job performance because you feel more valuable. Could have gone either way. Okay. All right. Population of rabbits goes up and the consumer price index goes up. Is this cause and effect? Is the population of rabbits going up and accidental relationship? And yeah, this is probably accidental, although a lot of rabbits might eat a lot of food, making it rare and causing it to go up. So maybe it's not accidental, but yeah, it's accidental. Okay, good. Coffee consumption and insomnia. What kind of a relationship could this possibly be? Coffee consumption and insomnia. Coffee, so as coffee consumption goes up, insomnia goes up, and cause and effect. Yep, yeah, coffee could be related to insomnia. And I should know. I drank coffee at 7 last night, and I don't know, I laid awake for a long time. Funding for athletic programs and medals won at Olympic Games. This one goes out to our athletes out there. Gee, what is this one? Increase the funding for athletic programs, and you win a lot of medals at Olympic Games. There we go. Oh, somebody thinks it's presumed, and other people aren't sure. Other people are scared. Presumed relationship. I would actually say it's cause and effect. Yeah, you increase the fund. At least, you know, the people that go for increased funding for athletic programs so that they get more medals at the Olympic Games would argue cause and effect. Probably it is. It also could be like Russia didn't go to the Olympic Games that year, but okay. So this is identify the common cause. So there's a common cause that relate these two things. The number of push-ups in 1 minute and the number of sit-ups in 1 minute. So as the number of push-ups somebody can do in 1 minute goes up, the number of sit-ups somebody can do in 1 minute goes up. This is not cause and effect. What is the common cause behind this apparent correlation? Somebody says strength. Oh, what a surprise. Someone else says strength. Yes, the common cause is that they're probably strong. Okay, there we go. Okay, number of speeding tickets and the number of accidents. So the more speeding tickets you get, the more accidents you get. What's the common cause here? So does speeding tickets lead to more accidents? I guess it could. You get pulled over for a speeding ticket and you run over a raccoon or something like that. So the common cause here is somebody says bad drivers. Someone else says speeding. Wow, we finally have diversity in our answers. Yeah, probably those are both good. Okay, those are both good. Those are good common cause. If you're speeding, that makes you a bad driver. Okay. What's the common cause here? So somebody has a lot of money invested in like stocks and bonds. They also spend a lot of money on vacations. So as you invest more, the number of the money you spend on vacations goes up. So this isn't really the cause and effect. What is the common cause here? What's the common cause? Income. Somebody says income. Oh, I can hardly wait to see what the second answer is. What's the second? Amount of money they have. Yes, there's a common cause there. Okay, good. I think we've got this sorted out. So we can finish that. Good. 100%. And